Something tells me that this movie's not gonna go down in history as the Aladdin movie people remember. Aladdin. So Aladdin is yet another live-action Disney remake, and for those of you who've been subscribed to me know I'm not a huge fan of those. Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, The Jungle Book, I wasn't a huge fan of any of those. The original animated movies are great, and the live-action remakes are not. So this live-action Aladdin is directed by Guy Ritchie, who directed the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes and the King Arthur movie that came out a couple years ago. And it's the story of Aladdin, you know, the same as the 90s animated Disney movie. It takes place in the fictional Arabian city of Agrabah. Aladdin is a pickpocketer, a common thief, and he gets caught up in this adventure because he falls in love with a princess. So he finds a magic lamp with a genie, played by Will Smith in this movie. He can grant Aladdin 3 wishes, so Aladdin wishes to become a prince because the law says that only a prince can marry a princess. And, you know, the story goes on. It's the story of Aladdin. It's the same one you know. Now, when it came to this one, there are things I enjoyed and there are things I did not like as much. Aladdin himself is played by Mena Massoud. I haven't seen him in anything before. And he wasn't bad, but I didn't think he came off as charismatically as his animated counterpart. I do like the fact that when he's trying to act all princely, you know, because he's under his Prince Ali disguise, but he's still Aladdin on the inside, so he doesn't know how to behave like a prince, so he's messing up a lot. I thought that was well done, but it also led to some cringy moments because you're like, oh my god, you're messing up so hard. But when he's Aladdin, you know, his common street rat appearance, he's fine enough. Princess Jasmine is played by Naomi Scott, who in my humble opinion is one of the hottest girls working in the film business right now. Which does help you connect to Aladdin even more because he wants so badly to impress this girl, and I would too. In fact, I would mess up a lot more than he did in this movie. But Jasmine has some story arcs in this film. You know, like these live action remakes, they always add new story elements to the original story, and you're like, why did they add those? They add nothing to it. They just do it to draw out the runtime. In this one, they give Jasmine this self-empowering story because, hey, you know, strong female characters, we live in a progressive time, so we need to give her a strong, empowering story. And I get it, but it just seems so forced in this movie, including the new musical numbers. You know, these live action remakes, they add new songs. In this one, it's Jasmine who has some new songs, and they're these self-empowering, female empowering songs, and I'm like, it's not that I'm against it, because I'm not. I'm all for female empowerment and all that, but it's just so forced. It's like rubbing it in your face, like, see, she's strong. I'm like, how about this? Instead of her saying or singing how she wants to be strong, how about action speaks louder than words? Have her show it, you know, like in the animation when Aladdin lays out that wooden board for her to walk across and she just jumps across the building anyway. I was like, yeah, alright, that's a strong chick. Because you can talk or sing all you want about being strong, but before you prove it, it's just empty words. You gotta actually prove it with actions. That's all I'm saying, really. And that being said, she was just not bad to look at. Alright, Will Smith as the Genie. Here we go. Cause yeah, I'm with everyone else. Robin Williams cannot be defeated as a Genie. He still makes me crack up, dying laughing every time I watch the original animation, no matter how long it's been. I have Genie monologues memorized because I've seen the movie so many times because he's just so damn funny. Here he comes, and what better way to make a grand entrance on the streets of Agrabah than riding your very own brand new camel? Watch out, they spit. But in this one, we have Will Smith, and normally I feel like Will Smith is a generally charismatic, funny guy. I love Will Smith. He's great. I felt like he was a good pick to play Deadshot, and I felt like they could have done worse when casting for a live-action Genie. Because what he did was he didn't try to be Robin Williams. I compare it to when Emily Blunt was cast as Mary Poppins. She wasn't trying to be Julie Andrews. She was trying to be Mary Poppins and add her own charisma to the character. And here I feel like the same thing, where Will Smith added his own natural charisma to the character of the Genie. He wasn't trying to be Robin Williams. So it was the Genie character. It wasn't entirely out of, like, he wasn't a completely different character. He was still the Genie, but just Will Smith instead of Robin Williams. And I really appreciate that. That's how you do a live-action remake where the original character was played by someone so symbolic, and you're like, no, that's the original, and that can only be the only one ever. And Will Smith had some moments in this movie that made me really laugh out loud. I thought he was pretty funny. So yeah, Will Smith's Genie, pretty good in this movie. However, not all the characters were great. Jafar, I thought Jafar, and I'm gonna be blunt here, Jafar sucked. Jafar in the original animation was much more menacing than he was in this one. I mean, his voice is like one of his defining traits. In the original animation, Jafar's like, bring me the lamp. In this movie, he's all like, bring me the lamp. I'm not even lying to you. It's that much of a difference. Iago, you know, his little parrot, I thought he was funnier in this movie than Jafar was menacing. Because Jafar was not menacing at all in this movie. Oh my god, just no, a big minus in Jafar in this movie. Now when it comes to this movie itself, I do have to agree with some reviewers out there that say that the story felt rushed, because it really did, especially in the beginning. Like, the animation took its time to tell the story, and it wasn't even that long. It was like an hour and a half. This movie's like 2 hours long, and it felt rushed in the beginning because it montages through a bunch of stuff that you're like, whoa, okay, we're already here. It's been like 10, 20 minutes. Whereas in the movie, it would have been like 30 minutes or maybe even 35 when we are at this point. It's like the movie assumes you know the story of Aladdin, which I do, so my mind filled in the gaps in the story, which affected the way I viewed this movie. But if I didn't know the story of Aladdin, I would probably still think that the beginning was rushed. And then they made these changes to the story, like not the overall plot, but these minor changes to the story where you're like, why did they do that? Like instead of a character wanting this in the original animation, they changed it to the character wanting something else. And I'm just like, why? Why make that change? I don't get it. The original was so good, everyone loves it, it's perfection. Why change it at all? People are not gonna like that as much. Really, the deal is that when this movie actually did something from the original and like just brought it to life on the big screen in live action, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I was like, yeah, this scene I remember from my childhood is now being brought into a live action state. I'm enjoying myself. The Prince Ali scene in this movie I thought was pretty well done. Same thing with the Friend Like Me scene. I was like, yeah, I'm having a great time here. Because I love the original songs and I kind of like how they're being done in this one. I mean, with the Friend Like Me scene, they add this little like rap segment that I just no. But all in all, I had a good time with the original songs. Even the whole New World scene, I'm like, yeah, alright. But when they tried to do something new with this movie, they made a change, I didn't like it. In fact, now that I think about it, that's how all these Disney live-action remakes have been with me. The Be Our Guest scene in the live-action Beauty and the Beast, I enjoyed it, but when the Beast had his own song, I thought it sucked. And visually, I thought this movie was really cool, you know? They made Agrabah look like a real city. They made this whole Arabian culture look really rich. It looked cool, but CG-wise, I can say it's not as impressive as, like, The Jungle Book was. This movie's not gonna win the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Like, the CG Genie, just... you know. And I've noticed this in Guy Ritchie movies where he always has a scene where like it's a couple of people talking about what they're going to do, like this plan they're going to execute, and it montages between them talking about it and them executing the plan. And it goes back and forth like that. That's something he does in like all his movies. I like those scenes usually, but in this one I felt it didn't work. I don't know. So in the end, the live action Aladdin remake, the characters were fine, I liked Will Smith's Genie, and when it actually did stuff from the original, I enjoyed myself. It was the new additions that made me go, no. And that's pretty much as simply as I can put it. So for 2019's Aladdin, I will say, wait until this movie's at a discount theater, then go see it. So the new live-action remake of Disney's Aladdin, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And do you like any of these live-action Disney remakes? Which one's your favorite or least favorite? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.